Hello, everyone. We're going to be reading the article, The Adolescent Brain, How Did We Get Here? From the unit Structure and Function. Why is it that many kindergartners do not get stage fright? Can you explain why so many second graders are eager to please their teacher? Do you know why adolescents have a difficult time discussing controversial issues? The answer to these questions may lie in their ages. How you think, behave, and feel changes as you get older. We commonly explain our behavior in terms of changes in physical, social, emotional, and cognitive characteristics. Understanding how these four characteristics change individually and how they work together can help us better understand why we do what we do when we do it. Cognition, originating from our brains, is the way we organize and store new information. It is how we think, and it should come as no surprise that this changes over time. We know this from observing how people behave over time, from watching what happens to people who have experienced certain types of brain injuries, and from analyzing magnetic resonance images, or MRIs, when people perform certain types of tasks. We will take a tour of our cognitive development from kindergarten to adolescence. Each section of this reading will explore a few behavioral trends, the reasons behind them, and how certain parts of the brain might impact these behaviors. Kindergarten. Kindergartners can be described as energetic bundles of curiosity. They start to develop deeper thinking skills because they begin developing something called theory of mind. A theory of mind is a realization that other people may have different thoughts and think differently than you do. Imagine this child is given a box of crayons. The child opens the box and is surprised to see string cheese instead of crayons. The box is closed, and when the child is asked what their friend would say what is in the box, before a theory of mind had been developed, the child would answer string cheese because they assume their friend knows what they know. After a theory of mind has developed, the child would answer crayons because they would understand that different people can have different thoughts. This theory of mind can impact our relationships with peers, how we manage our behaviors, and how we interpret other people's actions. Kindergartners are known for being quite chatty. They like to share absolutely everything they can think. This is one reason kindergarten classes focus so much on listening skills. Neuroscientists study the brain and nervous system in an attempt to better understand the brain's impact on behavior and development. These scientists understand that these younger years are a busy time for your brain. During these critical years, the fibers and tissues between your nerves and the white matter in your brain grow. These connections help transmit information, make memories, and process new information. In fact, by age 6, the brain will be approximately 85 to 90% of its adult weight. Upper elementary. Upper elementary students are usually 9 and 10 years old. One of the key discoveries for children this age is that they begin to understand that they are unique ways of knowing things. They also know that some learning methods are better than others. For example, first or second graders learning a list of words may try to memorize all of them at once. Controversially, the students in grades 4 or 5 will realize through experience and reflection that they might have a better chance at memorizing the words if they group them by a certain topic. Neuroscientists have noticed using MRI scans that the prefrontal cortex of many upper elementary students have become slightly more active during this time. The prefrontal cortex is involved in controlling complex behavior, personality, planning, impulse control, and how to analyze competing information. These are known as executive functions. Upper elementary students are certainly able to do all of the things that are controlled by the prefrontal cortex, but they cannot do them in a particular high level or in concert with one another. Adolescence. The adolescent years are a time of abundant change, which is why they're often called the storm. Growth spurts, new social dynamics are well-known emotional changes, But the one characteristic that is often overlooked is the cognitive aspect of these transformative years. From a cognitive perspective, adolescents are capable of understanding increasingly complex topics and relationships. Actually, the capacity to learn new information will never be greater than in adolescence. Adolescents are capable of imagining the consequences of their actions. Adolescents tend to try to conform to peer norms while at the same time exploring their individuality. Adolescents are also capable of analyzing and modifying their own thoughts and actions. Unfortunately, being capable and being consistent are two different things. Neuroscientists know that around the age 11, the density of the prefrontal cortex is at its highest. This means the brain has a tremendous potential, but is also slightly ineffective at sending, monitoring, and receiving neural messages. Connections that occur frequently are strengthened. The concept of use it or lose it comes into play rarely, as rarely used neural connections begin to disappear. This process is called synaptic pruning, and it makes the brain more efficient. This can have an impact on our ability to control our behavior, plan our work, control our impulses, and perform other executive functions. Pruning takes a very, very long time, which means having a mature prefrontal cortex might not happen until a person is well into their 20s. This means that adolescents may not stay organized, may not be able to process complex topics, or may not demonstrate impulse control on a consistent basis. Adolescents may also have a difficult time regulating their emotions. Whether these behavior observations can be directly tied to brain development is still up for debate. The research is still in its early stages, and knowing more about the structure of something does not always help us understand its functions. That said, the connection between structure and function is shaping the perception of what it means to be an adolescent. So the next time you hear, "What were you thinking?" from a teacher, parent, or friend, blame it on your brain. It's a work in progress. So once again, this was the article, Adolescence, How Did We Get There? And it's from the unit Structure and Function.